All right, what's going on, y'all? How y'all doing out there today on a Thursday, June 24th? Here, talking about what's going on in the city of Atlanta as far as the sports climate is concerned. I'm sorry about the internet. Internet has been garbage since I moved. I'm going to try my best to see if I can try to adjust that this week so we can get a little bit of better reception going on in here. But it's obvious right now the Atlanta Hawks are it's so funny. I had a back and forth with somebody describing what I describe what the Hawks are doing as historic for this franchise. Yes, it is historic because yes, we went to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time in Atlanta franchise history last about 6 years ago with the Paul Millsap Jeff Teague team. And this year is our only our second time going, and the first time we've actually won a game. So it is historic. But my biggest thing that I wanted to speak about briefly today was just talking about how winning cures all. And I put a post up about it, and I'm sure everybody's seen it by now. But listen, as Falcon fans, we have endured some of the toughest mental angst in the last 45 years that many sports teams would not. And I would even dare to go out on another limb and say, as local folks who pay attention, think about 2017. We went through the Falcons debacle in the Super Bowl. If you are a hometown fan, I'm pretty sure you were riding high with Georgia when Georgia had an opportunity to beat Alabama, and Alabama ripped the hearts out of local fans during that time. Last year, the Atlanta Braves sitting on a 3-1 lead against the LA Dodgers and let them come back and win. And then just the inability to build back that winning culture the last 3 years here with the Falcons. All of those things adding up, it just goes to show you that if you start a winning culture, folks will come. I know a lot of you may not have been around during the first part of Matt Ryan's. I'm looking at the ages of some of you. I'm not saying all of you, but I'm looking at the ages of some of you. And some of you may not have been around when Matt Ryan first came in. And I am not critical of Matt Ryan's whole career, because if not for Matt Ryan and the maturity he came in with, we wouldn't have had 5 straight winning seasons. During that time, I would say social media, Facebook, whatever, wasn't what it is now, where as soon as something happens, somebody's going to give a reaction to something like that. Folks, those were so good times. Yes, did we have problems closing the deal in the playoffs? Absolutely. But winning brought a different feel, a different excitement, a different aura around the city and folks here. I think about the Braves last year when they went through their run. I think there was a little bit more of a let's go Braves. And folks don't understand that when you win, it brings more people in. I even see folks defending, well, I'm a fan and I've been miserable for 20 years. So all these folks who jumping on the bandwagon, y'all can't come in. Says who? That's the most ridiculous thing in the world. If you're in that fan base, you want more people in there. You want more people to jump in and share the joy. Now, you can share more stories like, yeah, I've been here from the middle, but why would you turn back fans? Don't get me wrong. I know what they are. Bandwagon fans are tough to deal with sometimes. But at the same time, Everybody wants to get in on it because we're hungry, starved for a winner here in Atlanta. And by any means necessary, if they come, I'll accept it. So what we're seeing right now with the Atlanta Hawks and just the carefree, loose way that they're just, I'm telling you, playing with house money and doing what they're doing, it's amazing to me. I love it. I think it's awesome. So I welcome that. Hey, what's going on, Mark? How you doing today? Armani said, winning cures all. That's the theme. Jonathan, how you doing, sir? We're just playing with Moxie confidence, just 3 wins away from repping the Eastern Conference. And I know Jonathan can probably speak to, you know, with the Atlanta history, sports history. And I'm not even talking about before 28-3. You know, you talk about the Dallas loss. The Falcons, #1 seed, lost to Dallas in the divisional championship. The Dominique Game 7 battle with Larry Bird. Even some going back to the Flames, when the Atlanta Flames were pretty consistent winners, but could never take it to the next level in hockey when they were here. The Georgia Bulldogs, many years left on the table with Mark Richt when we could have and should have been in the consideration for the national championship. Those things during those times, they are, you know, it's easy for us to look back because history already happened. It's easy to go back and look because you know what the result is going to be. But in the moment, like we're doing right now, in the moment, it's the most beautiful thing in the world. So I tell people, enjoy the moment. We don't know how this thing is going to turn out. Of course, we're hoping that Atlanta closes the deal, gets to the finals, and holds up the Larry O'Brien trophy and are able to bring it home. But live in the moment. Right now, we don't do this often in this city. Even last year with the Braves, we haven't had an opportunity to do that. Even with the 14 straight years of winning with the Braves, there's always a good feeling. And the good thing about those 14 straight years, at least we had something to discuss, to talk about, to enjoy because we were winning. The Falcons' history of not closing the deal is gonna be there until we close the deal. And the side of the 2016 and 17 season in the last, probably now it's getting ready to be 10 years. You're talking about 2 years out of almost 10 that we've been in the playoffs. Matt had to run from 08 to 2012. It's 2021 now. So you talk about 2 years in between the last 2 years in the last 9. Folks, if we win, don't worry. Folks will come. But don't just brush this Hawks thing off. This Hawks thing can linger into training camp. That winning attitude in the city can linger and bring us something to look forward to, because just like the Hawks this year, the Falcons are going through a coaching change. The Falcons have some young folks on the team with a perfect mix of some veterans. And with good coaching, as Nate McMillan is showing, who's to say we couldn't do that? Who's to say that excitement that you see at State Farm and you see on the Twitter sphere and in Facebook, who's saying that can't happen here? That same feeling can happen here. But you got to win first. Winning cures all. I stand by that. What's up, James? How you doing, sir? From Kentucky. Armando said, yeah, back then Facebook was really starting up. 2008, 2009, I was 12 going on 13 when we drafted Matt. Jonathan, I'm a long, true, suffering Atlanta fan. And I think we all are. That's why when moments like like this come up, folks, when we have moments like the Hawks not only getting to the playoffs, but just saying, you know what? We were supposed to lose against the almighty Knicks. We were supposed to get destroyed by the too much for us 76ers. And the narrative now with the Bucks is the Bucks are just way too talented, and we're supposed to get wiped down. I've seen several folks before yesterday say we were supposed to get swept. And something about this team, and I'm not overlooking my man Ice Trey, historical players grab those moments and work with them. Legendary players, I shouldn't say historical players. Legendary players grab and want that moment. Trey wants that moment. Trey wants that moment bad. And he wants it for the city. And you can tell he does. Just seeing he almost played with a smile yesterday. Because I know you just went through a grueling series with the 76ers, and don't get me wrong, the 76ers are nice. I don't want anybody to misunderstand that. That Embiid on a weak knee was pretty doggone good. And we're looking at a time right now where we can take advantage of this opportunity. And I like the way that Trey's is going out there. Again, house money, get the dice, roll it, see what comes up. Like yesterday, comes up with a win. Who's to say we can't win tomorrow night? And then bring it back home to Atlanta up 2-0. We can. But again, just the groundswell of fans that supporting. The majority of the folks probably in groups like this are already Atlanta Hawks fans. You're talking about native Atlantans, people who were born and raised, for the most part, not everybody, but for the most part, born and raised in Atlanta. Yes, we've been through the long suffering years of the Braves back in the day, of the Falcons off and on, of the Hawks, who the Hawks have, for the most part, to be honest with you, in the last 2 decades, have been more consistent than not. But never able to get through that ceiling and bust through with that championship type success. And I don't want to put the horse before the cart before the horse, I should say, and try to guarantee a trip to the finals. But this is the closest we come in basketball. This moment is the closest we come. We never won the Eastern Conference Finals game. We never have. So this is by far the closest we've ever come. And with a team that's really not 100%. But look at the fanfare. Look at the sport. Look at the national landscape. Look at how they're talking about the city now and the franchise now. Before March, the Hawks were just the Hawks, ready to roll into the lottery and be seated like they were on Tuesday with, celebrities sitting in trying to wish us good luck to get a lottery pick. We just went through that last year. We went from that to now 3 games away from the NBA Finals. Of course, the fans are going to be here. Of course, the fans are going to embrace this. I expect that. Jimmy Wayne says, the Hawks go all the way and hoist the trophy. Best believe the Falcon fans will come up for the team if we mess up. Listen, and again, it becomes an inherited thing because we're Hawks, Braves, Falcons. Obviously, the hockey franchises haven't had a good thing here. We understand the Atlanta United on another level are pretty consistent, and we're going to support them and do what they do. But for the most part, when you talk Braves, Hawks, Falcons, there's an interconnection there between those teams. When they win, everybody wins. When we win, as far as city franchise concerned, everybody eats. So in this group, and you see other groups during this very dead time of the season, folks. So some of you who are in your feelings that we're talking about the Atlanta Hawks in a Falcons group in the middle of June when we don't even have training camp, you might have to mute yourself out the group until August or September, because we're going to celebrate sports excellence when it's happening. Yes, it could crash and burn. We could lose the next 4 games, and this will become another chapter in the woe is me Falcons. But for right now, this moment, we got players shimmying and taking shots, making national media, getting LeBron and folks like that on Twitter saying, oh my goodness, what is up? When do we get that shine? We don't. So when we get that shine as a community, as a city, embrace it, y'all. Embrace it. Don't downplay it. And don't be a Hawks fan. You weren't a Hawks fan this year, man. Forget that mess. I'm ATL. Holy Family, Old Southwest Hospital. Everybody else is great. Yeah, Killian says, Grady baby. Obviously, I was talking about that. I was born on the south side over by Gordon Road. So Holy Family, which turned out to be Southwest Hospital. That's where I was born. Mark, from here and seeing every heartache, now it's time for us to win. Absolutely. And I think that's what it is. I think folks want to see, and even as the biggest, and I won't apologize, I'm a much bigger Falcon fan than I probably am Hawks or Braves, but I support them big time. I go to the games, trust me. I invest in my local teams. So there's something to be said about your investment emotionally into local teams. Trust me, when the Atlanta United were going through their little run, I was right there with them. And good for the city. Not close to the level of what baseball, basketball, or football championship would be, not even close to what a college football championship would be, but still, nevertheless, there to support. So I have no problem with that. Toya say they have a real brotherhood. They play hard for each other. I hope the energy of the Falcons, of the Hawks and fans rubs off on our young Falcons. And Toya, again, if you look at the situation, there are similarities between the Hawks and what the Falcons are doing. I know it was a mid-season change, but it's a coaching change. You have an influx of young folks. We're probably going to play the majority of the young folks we drafted this year. And right now we're playing with house money with the Falcons too. As far as the Falcons concerned, there probably aren't a lot of expectations with this team. It's almost one of my favorite lines from New Jack City. The Cash Money Brothers, we all we got. And that's probably what the Hawks mantra is. That was not a soul. Tell me that you thought back in March the Hawks would be 3 games away from the finals. I would sit here and call BS on you, because that's not true. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to ride the wave. I'm going to ride this wave for what it is, man. Making it this far, something Atlanta teams don't do. Oh, I'm all down. Mercy says the Falcons need to create their own success. And the thing about that, Mercy, is it's not saying that you're absolutely right. The Falcons need to create their own success. And let's not pretend that we don't know what that looks like. We saw it, unless you just came on board in 2017. Again, you can't ignore the first 5 years of Matt Ryan. You can't ignore the MVP push in 16 and going back to back in 17. You can't ignore that. But we're in such a what have you done for me lately society right now, where you look at somebody like the Philadelphia Eagles won the Super Bowl, 4 years ago, and their coach is out of there. Because people have short memories, man. Unless you're winning the championship, folks don't care. Let Bruce Arians not win a championship in the next 3 years and see how the fans or folks around the Tampa area feel about him. People don't want to hear about the past. They want to hear about what you're doing right now. So to your point, yeah, the Falcons absolutely need to create their own winning culture. They do. But we can learn a lot from what's going on with these Hawks right now. There is something to be gained from a Falcons perspective by looking at what the Hawks are doing and seeing what the Hawks are doing. Folks, it's not like the Hawks were packing them in before the Nate McMillan switch. And I know less COVID, but even before that, you still had Trey. You still had Collins. It's not like they were packing them in. So let's not pretend like State Farm was packed to the masses before this season. But there is something to look forward to say that we can make change and make it quick. That's the way I look at it, at least. Rusty says Trey makes better passes than Matt. You know what? We ain't going there today. Well, here and it's so funny, Rusty, because I saw your question and I'm gonna steal your post for a quick second because you asked a very good question. Being from out of town, what would it mean? Well, I'm sorry. Would it mean more for the Hawks to win a championship or the Falcons to win a championship? And it's such a tough question being from Atlanta, basically known as Losersville, aside of the 1995 World Series during a strike-shortened season, as many people will bring up. But listen, when you're starved, you'll take anything. Going back to the Eddie Murphy joke, and he's talking about somebody, if you haven't eaten in a week and somebody gave you a saltine, you would think it's the best cracker you ever had. So if the Hawks win the championship, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like that's not something that we shouldn't celebrate. But on the other hand, seeing the pomp and circumstance around the NFL, seeing how folks go in so deep for that Super Bowl, seeing the accolades and the all that comes with it, with that NFL championship. And I don't know whether it has something to do with the physicality of the sport and what you have to go through to achieve that championship. But there's just something that tells me deep down that NFL championship, that Lombardi trophy, that Super Bowl acknowledgement, that stamp, there's something to be said about that just would slightly put that above winning an NBA championship. Again, let me make it clear. I'm not telling you we would turn down the Larry O'Brien trophy and say we're not going to take this and we'll wait for the Super Bowl. No. If they win the championship this year, I will be like with the next people trying my best to get to downtown Atlanta. But I am saying today the shine is so much more on what is going on. The shine would be so much more on what's going on in the now. The Hawks would absolutely embrace that spotlight, and I think we'll take it, folks. We'll take it no matter what. Killian says, not a shimmy, it's a shout out to the Youngbloods throwback. Shake them off. There is something magical, special, humorous, cocky that you gotta love about Trae Young. And I think when people are referring to Matt Ryan, it's not a personal thing with Matt Ryan, at least not with me. I don't play the games of the noodle arm and stuff like that and all the other crazy stuff people say. My disappointment has been Matt Ryan not stepping up like he did in 2016. That's been my biggest thing. I like Matt Ryan. If I sat here right now, I'd thank him for bringing, 7 winning seasons that we didn't have probably prior to him coming here. But anyway, Trae Young encapsulating that play, not only making Drew Holiday try to get his skate key back, but just the ability to have the flair to, as he said, take a deep breath. I don't know if I ever said that, but take a deep breath and get a little. And he didn't go for that. He did that, but we haven't had that, and had it while we're winning. We lose the game against Milwaukee, they'll be criticizing Trae from here to eternity. Oh, showboat and whatever. He didn't do that. But when you win, you get a pass. Even Giannis, they showed the little shot of him mad over there in the corner. So I just say, bravo, young Trae. Thank you for bringing that kind of swag to the city. Not saying any players here can't do it. Calvin Ridley can do it. Mike Davis can do it. You can. Bring it for us this year. I guarantee you, if you do, we'll embrace it too, as long as we're winning. Killian said, forever I love Atlanta. Same here, Steven. I got you. Armand and the Hawks are playing without 2 players. And Armand, I brought that up earlier. You're talking about DeAndre Hunter, and you're talking about, what's my boy's name? Snell not playing. And then you're playing half of Bogey. I almost think it's time for Bogey to sit down. Because I think he's giving it a shot, and I appreciate him because he was so key. We don't win the Knicks series without his contributions, but we're getting to a point now where you're kind of hurting us. It's not an Embiid situation where Embiid is still pouring in 30 points on a bad knee. Right now, you're almost hurting us. I would rather let Red Velvet come in there and pick up the slack as he has so awesomely, you know. And just think about, when I talk about winning, think about winning. Think about how the narrative has changed. The outside of Atlanta did not know about Kevin Huerter before Game 7. There are some people probably been seeing him on the court now and didn't know who he was. But when you win, and when you show up in big spots, and when the whole national media was Googling Kevin Huerter after Game 7. Who the mess is Kevin Huerter? And he's a redhead. Let me see. Winning does that. Winning ups the ante. Winning brings the notoriety. You don't have to search for it. It will come to you. Everybody wanted a Kevin Huerter story. Now everybody's all on Trae Young and his father and their relationship. Nobody was talking about that before. They weren't talking about it at the Knicks series because they figured they were going to lose to the Knicks and they were going to lose to Philly. Nobody's talking about it. Winning breeds that kind of stuff, y'all. Killian says football is king in the South. I think that's the case. Anthony said the Hawks winning the chip is just as important as the Falcons winning the chip. The city needs something to celebrate and need it bad to wash away the stench of 28-3 and start from scratch in the sports world because nobody respects us. And let me make it clear, Anthony, I'm not saying a Hawks championship isn't important. I guess I'm saying let's not fool ourselves. During this season right now, when there is no football going on, of course basketball rules. Of course the NBA is top dog in the heat of baseball and in the heat of the hockey playoffs. Now, hockey playoffs drop down to third. I don't even know what's baseball is ahead of hockey playoffs in a lot of places. But I'm saying keep it real. The NFL is on a different level. When you talk about the money, don't get fooled by the individual money in basketball. They don't have to split it 50 ways. They only have to split it 15 ways. That's why they get a lot more money. But the significance of a Hawks championship is great. I'm telling you, a Falcons Super Bowl will shut this city down. I'm not saying a Hawks championship would not move the crowd. It will. It'll move the crowd in my house. It'll move the crowd with the people I know. But I'm saying as far as the difference between the two, I would say the NFL, and I said by a bit, by a little bit, not by a whole bunch, but the NFL moves the meter more right now. That's why going to a Hawks group now, the excitement is overwhelming because they're in the playoffs. Go to a Hawks group during the offseason and see how much you get. The Atlanta Falcons group, you all know, you've been in the group. This offseason, y'all posting like it's September through December. Whether it be draft, whether it be killing Matt Ryan, whether it be criticizing Julio Jones, whether it be talking about the new GM, talking about Arthur Blank, talking about who's going to be the next star. Again, NFL is so much more 12 months of the year that I think that's the biggest difference. Am I saying that NBA championship isn't the truth? No. NBA championship would be awesome. It is awesome. It is high level, but it's not the NFL. Killian said, I love Bogey, but he is hurting us. He's slowing the offense down. We need to see at least where Cam Reddish is at. And I was wondering whether we would see Cam Reddish at all. I think you need to get to a point, especially with Bogey hurting. Listen, we need Bogey's points, without a doubt. Trae ain't scoring 48 every night, and especially after today, because I'm pretty sure Milwaukee will come up with some kind of plan. But I'm kind of glad Budenholzer is there because we've seen that in action. He might not come up with the greatest plan to stop him. But Bogey right now, yeah, I just want to see you sit down, get healthy, bro, because if we need you later, I'd rather have a healthy Bogdanovic there than what we're seeing right now. Right now, bless his heart, he's trying, but we don't need bless your heart right now. We're trying to win 7 games. 7 games for the chip. And now's not the time to get nostalgic and say what you've done for us against the Knicks in the first game or 2 against Philly. We need healthy players to come in there right now. And I think the Bogey, I love him for trying to do what he needs to do, but I'm just not feeling it. Killian says, King says, the Hawks winning got me feeling like a championship might be on the way. King is a very popular feeling. I have, especially getting a chance to see, and I was listening a little bit at work. I didn't get a chance to see it until I actually got home and they showed the replay early this morning. But they're playing so loose right now. And if you think about Milwaukee and folks who will foolishly try to say they've underachieved, look, they have a good team. I know it was hard to get past LeBron, the Kawhi thing with Toronto. Yeah, when you look at it, in the bubble last year, the bubble is always going to get an asterisk to me, in my opinion, just my own. But Milwaukee has all the pressure. Everybody is picking Milwaukee to win. Not only because they have talented players. As you saw, Drew Holiday is no joke. Chris Middleton, despite a horrific game yesterday, is not a bad player. Don't sleep on him. Don't think you're going to get 15 every night. He will bounce back. And Giannis is Giannis. But don't overlook these folks. Milwaukee has all the pressure. Atlanta is going, hey, nobody expected us to be here anyway. Let's go ahead and win this thing. Why not? Shoot it. Now I tell him, there is nobody, look, just about everybody except Solomon Hill has the green light to shoot for me. I just say go for it. Why not? So, I don't know. Armand says, even after the game, even they said that they only showed up one Hawks game. Yeah, that's true. They didn't put them on TV a lot. John, who's discounting the Hawks championship? Are you kidding? The Hawks championship puts the city into the stratosphere. It won't be like a Super Bowl victory. We're the only game in town at this time of the year with a must-see exposure. Absolutely. Anthony White, the energy won't manifest to the Falcons until they do the thing the Hawks are doing, winning. That's the only way. No catchphrases or slogans. W's on the board will gauge this franchise all the energy it needs. King says the Hawks have nothing to lose, so they're fearless right now. And that's the main thing. I did not plan on being here that long. I appreciate the comments again, y'all. Winning cures all. Winning cures all every time. I'll catch y'all later on. Y'all be good. I'll catch y'all on Sunday. Take care. Have a good end of the week, y'all.